welcome to Elimu TV Show, my viewers. If you're new to this channel, this is Mr. Eric. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please you can do so. On our today's lesson, we want to look at solving quadratic equation. And you have to understand that this method, in this calculation, quadratic equation can be solved using different methods. Method number one, we have factorization method, we have completing square method, and also we have quadratic formula. So out of these formulas, today we want to start with factorization method. Follow me on what you're going to do. Our question today, our viewers, we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. So you can be given this kind of question in exam, and remember, the examiner will be so strict. They will ask you to use either one of the formula. Maybe sometimes they might ask you to use factorization method. They might ask you to use completing square method. They might also ask you to use quadratic formula. Or maybe sometimes they might go to an extent of asking you to solve it using graphical method. So on our today's topic, we want to look at how we can use factorization method to solve this equation. So remember that the question is 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. The first method, or the first step, what we are going to do, my viewers, first we are going to start by getting the product. So we have the product. So our product here, we are going to multiply 2 times negative 3, which will be negative 6. Then from that also, we must have sum. Sum, we are going to take the middle number, the coefficient of x, which is 5. So remember that the first step, we have to find the product. And remember, the product, we've said that we take the coefficient of x squared, which in this case is 2. Then we take the coefficient of the constant, which is negative 3. So you multiply them together. If you multiply this coefficient together, you are going to have negative 6. For the sum, is going to be the middle number, that is the coefficient of x, which is 5. After you've done that, what we are going to do, we are going to find the factors. So we are going to get the factors. So what do you understand by the word factors? So we are going to find the two numbers that if you multiply, you must get negative 6, and the same two numbers, if you add, you are going to get 5. So these two factors are, we have positive 6 and negative 1. Let us try this, my viewers. If you take 6, you multiply it by negative 1, you are going to get negative 6. If you take 6, you add it to negative 1, you are going to get 5. That's what we mean by the factors. From that, after you've gotten the factors, you are now going to make sure that the factors that you've gotten, you're going to insert them where 5x is. You're going to replace them with the 5x. This is what you're going to do, my viewers. You are going to take 2x squared, that is plus 6x minus 1 minus 3 is equal to 0. From that point, we are going to arrange them so that in such a way that we group them into 2. We are going to group them into 2. So remember that in this part, allow me to read again what I have written. We have 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3 is equal to 0. So if it's not clearly seen, you will allow me to write it again. We have 2x squared, that is plus 6x minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. Some of you might wonder, where have I come with this negative x? This negative x is the same as negative 1. this 6x is the same as this 6. So remember that I've said that instead of writing this 5x, you replace them with the factors that you've gotten. From that point, I've said you are going to group them into two. Once you group them into two, you are going to find the common factor. So the first common factor in 2x squared plus 6x becomes 2x. So we are going to have 2x into bracket. If you divide 2x squared divided by 2x, you are going to have x, then plus. Take 6x, you divide it by 2x, you are going to have 3. So which means that at the same time also, if you open the bracket, by multiplying 2x times x, you're going to have 2x squared. 2x plus 3x, you're going to have 6x squared. The second step also, you're going to look at the common factor between negative x and minus 3. And the common factor here is negative 1. So once you've gotten that, you're going to make sure that you divide it with whatever you have. So if you take negative 1, you divide it by negative x, you're going to have x. You're going to have x. Then this negative 1, you divide it by that negative 3, you're going to have positive 3. Now from that point, my viewers, we have 2x into bracket x plus 3 into bracket negative 1 into x plus 3. Once you've reached that point, what you're going to do, remember that everything, what is inside the bracket are equal. You're going to take what are outside the bracket, you combine them together, that is 2x and minus 1. So we are going to have 2x minus 1, you close the bracket, then you take what is in the bracket, you take one bracket, which is x plus 3. So we have x plus 3. So once you've reached to this point, everything must give us 0. Now for we to continue to solve the value of x, this is what we are going to do. We are going to say qx minus 1 is equal to 0. So this negative 1 is going to cross the equal sign because we want to make x the subject of the formula. We are going to have 2x is equal to positive 1. So we divide both sides by 2. So our x is equal to a half. That's the first value of x. Or we also have x plus 3. We have x plus 3 is equal to 0. If we make x the subject of the formula, this positive 3 will cross the equal sign. If it crosses the equal sign, it will be meant to be negative. So we are going to have x is equal to negative 3. So this is how we solve quadratic equation using factorization method. And my viewers, you have to understand that this particular question never misses in any standardized KCSE exam. So if you've known factorization method, if you've known completing square method, and also if you've known graphical method, my friend, you are on the right